You're listening to Linux News Log, separating the Linux and open source signal from the noise.
Hey everybody, how's it going? I am your host Adrian, coming to you almost live from lovely Petaluma, California, here in Studio MC2 at Quicksurf Internet Studios. Linux News Log is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Do feel free to head on over to techpodcast.com and check out all the other technology-related shows over there as well. I'd like to encourage everybody to visit us online over at quicksurf.com. Please do subscribe to the show if you have not already done so. You can do so by visiting us online, and in the show notes for every episode, I have a subscribe heading, and there you can subscribe to an Ogg Vorbis feed, an MP3 feed, as well as a standard definition and a high definition video feed. Both of which are H.264, and they're at a profile that's compatible with a lot of players. Alternatively, you can find us on YouTube, Dailymotion, Blip.tv, and Stitcher.com. So if those are your platforms of choice, do go check those out as well. Let's go ahead and get into the stories for this episode, starting off at Engadget. China chooses Ubuntu for a national reference OS coming in April. So China's government and people have historically been friendly towards Linux. Obviously, you don't have to pay for it. Although not quite on the level of a new deal with Canonical, the country's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology is teaming with Canonical to create Ubuntu Kylin. It's a variant of the regular Linux distribution that would serve as a reference point for local hardware and software developers. So a raring ringtail-based build is due this April. It should include Chinese calendars, character input methods, and quick access to relevant music services, etc. This isn't really the first time China has done this. China has kind of tried to do their own OS type thing now for quite some time. I recall reporting on this sort of thing at least one other time in the past for as long as I've been doing Linux News Log, which is since late 2004. So, this is nothing new. I expect, that China's probably teaming with Canonical because they kind of want to, do something that's based off of a fairly popular reference worldwide, as opposed to rolling their own, which they've previously done in the past. So should be interesting to see what comes of it. From Network World, Kali Linux, the Next BackTrack. Security professionals have been relying on BackTrack security distribution for many years to help them perform their assessments. BackTrack is a wonderful distribution if you do a lot of penetration testing or just security work in general. The industry has been waiting for the next major release of BackTrack. However, the creators of BackTrack have gone in a new direction and created Kali Linux, K-A-L-I Linux. Kali Linux is similar to BackTrack in many ways, but it lays a new foundation and makes substantial improvements that will allow it to be even more useful to penetration testers in the coming years. So pretty awesome. If you are into security testing and penetration testing, this is definitely something you want to look into. From linuxgizmos.com, a $250 ARM Linux project kit includes an LCD. This is pretty neat. Gumstix shocked the embedosphere today by unveiling a new board-level computer that's neither the shape nor size of a gumstick. The Pepper board is based on a 720 megahertz Texas Instruments Sitara ARM processor and is supplied in a bundle that includes a Yocto build Linux file system on microSD, a 4.5-inch touchscreen LCD, and DC power supply. So pretty neat. You get the TI AM3359 system on a chip, 512 megs of RAM, gigabit Ethernet, 802.11b, G and N Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth 3.0 wireless, a microSD slot, console port, audio I/O, and a pair of USB OTG ports. So pretty interesting to say the least. Definitely check it out if you do embedded Linux development. From pingzine.com, Novosoft celebrates 20 years with an offer. That's right, Novosoft, I've never heard of them, but apparently they've been around for a while. They are an international developer of backup and disaster recovery software for Windows and Linux computers. They have announced the launch of a limited birthday offer as part of celebration of its 20th anniversary. Until April 5th, 2013, all new customers of Novosoft's flagship product, Handy Backup, will receive additional licenses, extended support, free plugins, and cloud storage. So pretty interesting. Again, I've never heard of Novosoft before, but I imagine if they've been around for 20 years, somebody's using them. So definitely check it out. From the H Online, Wakanda 4 introduces Git and 32-bit server for Linux. What? Version 4 of the Wakanda platform for developing JavaScript business applications for the web and mobile devices has been released. The project encompasses a database server, a JavaScript framework, and an integrated development environment. So they have integrated Git as a version control option in Wakanda Studio, which allows GitHub projects to be cloned directly from the IDE and permits changes to be published directly via push. Nice. It also includes the Chrome debugger for analyzing and debugging server-side JavaScript by entering a URL in Chrome. It is possible to debug apps remotely. Interesting. So this is designed especially for Linux users who do not have access to the IDE. This group of users also benefits from a 32-bit version of Wakanda server for Linux. So if you're a Wakanda user, this is definitely something to look into. From the Sacramento Bee over at sacbee.com, Gumstix introduces the Pepper SBC supporting Texas Instruments Sitara AM3359 ARM processor. This is an update to the Linux devices one. Basically, there's a little more information in this press release. You get a 4.3-inch LCD touchscreen, expansion headers to accommodate applications such as I2C, SPY, and UARTs, and a GPIO-controlled push buttons and LEDs. So pretty interesting. Definitely, like I said before, definitely give it a whirl. From linuxgizmos.com, a tiny $50 ARM-based COM runs Linux and Android. BDD Group is readying a tiny sub-$50 SODIMM style computer module powered by a system on a chip containing a single ARM Cortex A8 core along with a Mali 400 GPU, among other functions. The business card-sized A10 COM, as they're calling it, will be supported with Android and Linux BSPs. The CEO of BDD, Rowdy Van Cleve, says the A10 COM was created to enable rapid design and development of a wide range of industrial embedded products. The module is quite small, measuring just 68 by 52 millimeters. Its core consists of an all-winner A10 system on a chip. Beyond that, the module adds SD-RAM, flash memory, and Ethernet PHY receiver, and power management functions. So pretty interesting. So like all comms, you need to plug this into a standard or custom baseboard, which gives you additional connectors, etc., etc. But still, nonetheless, I thought it was pretty cool. So definitely check this out. That will do it for this edition of the Geekinator. That'll do it for this edition of Linux News Log. There you go. I'm mixing my shows up. Definitely send me an email, linux@quicksurf.com. You can find everything we've talked about linked up in the show notes online over at quicksurf.com. This is episode 1421. So this is the last episode of this season of Linux News Log. We'll be starting on season 15, episode 1 of the next on the next episode of Linux News Log. We keep 21 episodes per season. 21 is half of 42, which we all know how nice and important 42 is. So I'll see all of you on the next episode. See you then. Bye.